Welcome back to episode 2 of the Nicolas Cage-athon. Before we begin, hats off to Cody Buns 6311 for correctly figuring out, or maybe just using closed captioning, what Nicolas Cage said back in The Runner. But now, back to our expedition of watching every single Nicolas Cage movie ever made. I will now get the Cage bot to produce our next 3 movies. And our next 3 movies are Captain Corelli's Mandolin, Industrial Symphony No. 1, The Dream of the Brokenhearted, and Trespass. We'll be right back after these messages.
What's in a can of Del Monte green beans?
This is very good.
First one I watched was Trespass from 2011. I actually really liked this movie. It was well shot. Cage had a great, riveting performance in it. 1 or 2 spots, it felt a little wooden on his behalf. But I really liked the intensity that he brought to the role, the emotion of it. Trespass is about a jewel broker, played by Cage, who has a very nice home. He seems to be doing very well. And the house gets broken into by thieves, and Cage and his wife are kidnapped. It's a hostage scenario type movie. I won't recount the plot so that you can watch it if you want and not have spoilers. The plot had plenty of twists and turns, and Cage's character remained relevant throughout. I wouldn't say there were any true big-time Cage moments. We had some great scenes of Cage, some great displays of his acting prowess, but I wouldn't say there was a scene that made me go, that's a Cage scene. That made me like just sit up and think, well, yeah, that goes in the Hall of Fame there. Still, great movie. I really enjoyed it. It ranks above The Cotton Club and The Runner. And I think I'm going to rank it above Prisoners of the Ghostland, because although Prisoners of the Ghostland had, in isolation, a better Cage moment than Trespass, Trespass had overall more interesting and better acting by Cage throughout the entirety of the movie. Prisoners of the Ghostland had 2 or 3 good moments, maybe 4 or 5, but most of the movie, including Cage's performance, was just kind of boring, while Trespass was engaging, or his role was engaging throughout. So I'm going to rank Trespass the top of the 4 reviewed so far. Next is Industrial Symphony No. 1, The Dream of the Brokenhearted. I can't state how much I hate this movie. In fact, it wasn't really even a movie. It was a play concocted and directed by David Lynch that was then filmed and released direct to VHS. And I couldn't even find it streaming anywhere. I had to go to YouTube to find a rip of the VHS. So it was visually poor quality. Combine that with the fact that the plot was basically non-existent. It opens with Cage on the phone with his girlfriend. Cage is basically breaking up with her. And then after that, it dissolves into the play, but Cage is not in the play. So you see like 180 seconds of Cage on the phone, and then 50 minutes of just a absolute cacophony of noise and flashing lights and nightmarish imagery. Just loathsome to watch. I'm not a fan of David Lynch to begin with, so this was terrible. Even if we're not ranking it in terms of Cage's performance, it's still a terrible movie or visual experience to witness. Combine the terrible experience with the fact that Cage, we only see him for like a minute talking on the phone. When it comes to ranking Cage movies, it's got to rank at the very bottom. I'm ranking it dead last. And I frankly, out of the 100 movies remaining, I do not see any movie ranking below this. It's got to be the worst Cage movie, if you can call it that exists. Finally, Captain Corelli's Mandolin. Probably the best directed, the best acted, and the most well-developed plot of all the movies we've seen so far. In fact, spoilers, it's the best movie, or the best Cage movie that we've seen so far, in my opinion. Captain Corelli's Mandolin is basically a romance movie set on a small island in Greece during the breakout and continuation of World War II. Nicolas Cage plays an Italian officer. So a bonus is that Nicolas Cage talks in an Italian accent throughout the entire movie. So that's really fun to watch.
Ignoring the curfew.
You're absolutely right. Quick, get the gun. Somebody shoot him! Shoot him!
There's a fair amount of singing that Cage does. His role has the lighthearted, fun-loving appeal that, frankly, I think Cage does well at when he's casting these types of roles. It was engaging to watch. I'm not a romance movie type of guy, but this was a great movie. So, with 6 down and approximately 98 movies to go, this has been episode 2 of the Nicolas Cage-athon. We will see you next time.